Boeing is more than a company, it's a symbol of American innovation and power. For over a century, Boeing has connected the world, carrying presidents, packages, and millions of people. It's a cornerstone of the U.S. economy, shaping America's global standing. But recent crises like the 737 MAX tragedy have shaken public trust. Now, a $30 billion deal with China has collapsed and Ryanair has walked away. The stakes are high, jobs, trade, and America's industrial power hang in the balance. The world is watching to see if this American titan can weather the storm. The $30 billion deal with China was supposed to be Boeing's comeback. It included the 737 MAX and 787 Dreamliner, vital for Boeing's recovery after the MAX crisis and pandemic. China, a booming aviation market, would have kept Boeing's production lines busy for years, but negotiations were tangled in US-China trade tensions. Suddenly, the deal collapsed. Chinese airlines announced they'd seek alternatives. The loss is devastating, leaving a massive hole in Boeing's revenue and giving Airbus a major advantage. The stakes couldn't be higher. As Boeing reeled from the China deal collapse, another blow came from Europe. Ryanair, one of Boeing's largest customers, pulled out of talks for a major new 737 MAX 10 order. The deal, worth billions, was central to both companies' futures. Negotiations broke down over price. Ryanair's CEO Michael O'Leary demanded deep discounts, arguing Boeing should be more flexible after recent crises. O'Leary's public criticism put Boeing's pricing strategy under the spotlight, pressuring the company in other negotiations. The timing couldn't be worse, compounding Boeing's troubles and damaging its reputation in Europe. Airlines are still recovering from the pandemic and expect manufacturers to share the burden. The collapse highlights Boeing's dilemma: win orders with discounts or protect profit margins. Other airlines are watching closely, ready to demand similar terms. Boeing is caught between the need for business and the need for profitability. The loss of Ryanair, even temporarily, is a dark cloud over Boeing's European ambitions. Navigating this challenge will require a delicate balancing act. The company's next moves will set the tone for its relationships across the continent. The pressure to deliver is immense. The collapse of the China and Ryanair deals wasn't due to a single issue. It was a perfect storm. Financially, airlines are still fragile post-pandemic, focused on cost control, while Boeing needs to recoup massive losses from the 737 MAX crisis. This created a fundamental gap in expectations, especially on price. Politically, US-China tensions made a major Boeing purchase a statement. China used its economic leverage to send a message. Operationally, Boeing's lingering certification issues, especially in China, created uncertainty for airlines. Delays and risk in delivery gave both Chinese airlines and Ryanair leverage to walk away. The competitive landscape is shifting too. Airbus is gaining ground and China is developing its own aircraft, the Comac C919, a long-term threat to Boeing. China's move supports its homegrown industry, signaling a new era of competition. Boeing's challenges are now financial, political, and operational all at once. The comfortable Boeing-Airbus duopoly is fading. Airlines have more choices and Boeing can't rely on old advantages. The company must adapt to survive in this new reality. The failed deals are a warning. The world is changing fast. Boeing's response will determine its future. The margin for error is shrinking. The fallout from these failed deals ripples far beyond Boeing's headquarters. The most immediate impact: American jobs. Boeing's supply chain spans thousands of companies. When orders drop, layoffs and factory closures follow. The economic hit is significant. Boeing is a top U.S. exporter, and losing a $30 billion deal widens the trade deficit. The pain spreads from small towns to major industrial centers, dragging down the national economy. Beyond numbers, America's business reputation is at stake. Made in America once meant reliability. Boeing's recent struggles tarnish that image. Global customers may question if U.S. companies can still deliver. Competitors like Airbus are eager to fill the gap, positioning themselves as more stable partners. There's also a blow to national pride. Boeing's jets have long symbolized American achievement. These setbacks suggest America's industrial dominance is no longer guaranteed. It's a wake-up call. Past success doesn't ensure future leadership. The challenge is economic and deeply tied to America's identity. The stakes are about more than just airplanes. They're about the future of American industry itself. Former President Donald Trump wasted no time responding. On social media, he called the Boeing news a national disgrace, blaming current policies for the lost deals. Trump claimed his tough trade stance had commanded respect, and that today's leadership is weak and incompetent. He argued that under his watch, countries lined up to buy American. Now he says, they laugh at us. Trump framed the China deal's collapse as a personal failure of the current president, insisting a stronger leader could have forced China's hand. He also criticized Boeing's leadership, accusing the company of losing focus and becoming woke. By linking Boeing's troubles to broader cultural and political issues, Trump energized his base and turned a business crisis into a political battle. His comments forced other leaders to take sides, keeping the issue in the headlines. For Boeing, this political firestorm is an unwelcome distraction from urgent business problems. But in today's polarized climate, a crisis of this scale was bound to become a political football. Trump's intervention ensures the story won't fade quietly. The stakes are now political as well as economic. Boeing is caught in the crossfire. Boeing can't afford to stand still. It must act decisively. First, it needs to stabilize relationships with existing customers, showing flexibility on pricing and delivery to secure critical orders. Rebuilding trust, one deal at a time, is essential. Internally, Boeing must double down on safety, quality, and transparency. Any hint of cutting corners would be catastrophic. The company's survival depends on convincing the world its planes are the safest and most reliable. Diversifying its customer base is now urgent. Over-reliance on China has proven risky. Boeing must aggressively pursue opportunities in India, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. Competing with Airbus in these regions won't be easy, but it's necessary for long-term stability. Looking ahead, Boeing must invest in next-generation aircraft, fuel-efficient engines, lighter materials, and new propulsion systems. Innovation is the only way to leapfrog the competition and recapture global leadership. This will require years of research and billions in investment. But without bold moves, Boeing risks falling further behind. The path forward is through relentless innovation and strategic risk-taking. Boeing's next chapter depends on its ability to adapt and lead. The world is watching. The stakes have never been higher. Boeing's crisis reflects a broader shift in American aviation. The era of unquestioned U.S. dominance is over. Airbus and new players like China's Comac are rising fast. American companies must fight for every order and innovate constantly to stay ahead. The line between business and geopolitics is blurred. Boeing is now on the front lines of global competition. Washington must provide smart trade policies and invest in research to fuel the next wave of aerospace innovation. The future depends on a new partnership between industry and government. America also needs a new generation of skilled engineers and technicians. Renewed focus on STEM education and vocational training is essential. The strength of U.S. aviation is built on its people. Ensuring a strong talent pipeline is critical. The global demand for air travel will keep growing, creating massive opportunities for new, efficient, and sustainable aircraft. The question, will American companies lead or fall behind? Boeing's setbacks are a wake-up call. Leadership must be earned, not assumed. The industry's future depends on hard work, vision, and relentless pursuit of excellence. The next era of aviation is up for grabs. America's response will shape the skies for decades. July 27, 2025 marks a turning point for Boeing and American industry. The loss of two major deals exposes vulnerabilities: geopolitical, competitive, and internal. The immediate future will be turbulent, with tough questions and difficult decisions ahead, but crisis can be a catalyst for change. Boeing has faced adversity before and emerged stronger. This is a crossroads, a moment that will define the company for a generation. Boeing's story is also America's story, reflecting the nation's challenges in a complex world. The response will require renewed commitment to manufacturing, innovation, and smart trade. Collaboration between government, industry, and labor is essential. The skies are cloudy, but Boeing's legacy is built on overcoming the impossible. The task now apply that same spirit to today's challenges. The world is watching to see if this American titan can soar again. The future of a company and a nation's industrial might hangs in the balance. The final chapter is still unwritten,